From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Wednesday, May 8th. It's a Storm Track 8 Weather Alert Day. Here's Tara Hastings with what to expect.
Don't let your guard down here. We are under a weather alert. If you don't have a way to get those severe weather warnings, our Storm Track 8 weather app is a great tool. And it looks like already across parts of Missouri, beginning to see some severe weather fire up. A severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for parts of Kansas City. Much of the day here in Indianapolis, I think, is going to be dry. In fact, it is going to be sunny and warm with temperatures climbing into the 80s. Now, later this afternoon, about 4 or 5 o'clock, we'll begin to see a couple of showers and thunderstorms fire up. And then later on into the evening hours, I think through about midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, that's going to be our greatest risk of seeing some of those strong to severe thunderstorms. Here's a look at our severe weather outlook. This enhanced risk, that's a level 3 out of a level 5, includes parts of Bloomington, Columbus, and points southward. And then we're under a slight risk here in Indianapolis. So basically about the I-70 corridor and ports southward is going to be the greatest risk for seeing these really strong to severe thunderstorms. Isolated tornadoes are possible, along with some hail and really strong damaging winds as well.
So far, we have not heard of any significant structure damage from a tornado that touched down in Rush County last night. We have video from the Decatur County Emergency Management Agency showing that tornado near the Rush and Decatur County line. Emergency officials tell us most of the damage in Rush County is due to downed trees and power lines. Our crews also captured video of flooding and some of those downed power lines. Officials think another twister touched down in the northeast corner of Indiana near Angola yesterday. In southern Indiana, the National Weather Service just posted that a team will be going to Clark County today to check on any damage there. In your vote 2024, Senator Mike Braun is now the Republican nominee for governor after a heated primary race. He says it's time to bring the party together ahead of November. News 8's government reporter Garrett Bergquist reports from Braun's victory celebration.
Mike Braun is waking up this morning as the Republican nominee for governor of Indiana. He made short work of 5 opponents in Tuesday's primary.
Braun was declared the winner almost the moment the polls in the Central Time Zone closed.
We are headed onto a journey that I hope you challenge me, I'll be challenging you, and we're going to take this state to a place we've never seen before. Thank you so much.
Braun took home nearly 40% of the vote in a 6-way race. That's roughly the same as how he did in the polls in the months leading up to the primary. This despite several well-funded opponents, including Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch.
And we did everything we possibly could. And after that, it's up to God and the voters, and they have made their decision, and we will get behind it, and we will support Mike Braun.
Fellow candidates Eric Doden and Brad Chambers released statements on Tuesday night saying much the same thing. Braun says it's time for voters to set aside their differences from the primary and work together. He expanded on that when I talked to him shortly after his victory speech.
How do you bring those voters on board, both the ones who might not have considered you before or else the people who came out in this primary but supported someone else?
So they need to check around, talk to people that know me, and know that I get along with almost everyone, but I stick to my principles. I just figure out innovative ways to get things done.
Braun will face Democrat Jennifer McCormick in November. She was unopposed in the Democratic primary. Libertarian Donald Rainwater won his party's nomination at its nominating convention earlier this spring. In Whitestown, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
As the Democratic nominee for governor, Jennifer McCormick says if she's elected, she will focus on women's rights, education, and environmental issues. She also plans to work with both parties.
You know, people don't want fear and chaos. We want someone who will approach the State House with balance in a bipartisan way, who will stay focused on the issues that impact our daily lives. We deserve to have a bipartisan common sense and a civil situation in that governor's office, and that's what I intend to bring. And we will focus on all Hoosiers that want to join us.
Congressional races now. Victoria Spartz is again the Republican nominee for the 5th District. It's a race she initially chose not to run. When she entered, it turned into a fight of historic financial proportions. News 8's Kyla Russell explains.
Victoria Spartz is in Washington, D.C. tonight, but she did issue a statement to us. She said she's honored and ready to continue on in her work representing the 5th District. Now, Chuck Goodrich made a tearful concession speech here tonight right behind me. It comes after he and Spartz faced off in the most expensive primary congressional race in the state here in District 5, which stretches from the edge of Marion and Hamilton counties all the way north to the city of Marion. The candidates spent at least $6.7 million on the campaign, and Goodrich himself spent $4 million to combat Spartz. Goodrich currently represents the 29th District and said he'll remain steadfast in his role.
I still believe that it's our responsibility together as people first to protect the American dream.
Ukrainian native Spartz is the district's incumbent. Now, she originally said she did not plan to run, but in the final days leading up to the filing deadline in February, she's changed her mind and said she would run, citing she had unfinished business. Reporting here in Noblesville, I'm Kyla Russell for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
Spartz will face Deborah Pickett in the general election. Pickett won the Democratic nomination for the 5th District, beating Ryan Peffinger. We also have results for the 6th District. Jefferson Shreve, who had unsuccessfully run for mayor here in Indianapolis, has won the GOP nomination. He won a 7-way race, with his closest competitors being former state lawmaker Mike Speedy and Jamison Carrier. Shreve will face Democrat Cindy Worth in the November election. The winner will replace Republican Greg Pence in the U.S. House. In the 8th District in southern Indiana, Mark Messmer will be the Republican nominee. He defeated former Congressman John Hostetler, who lost his seat in 2006 after serving 12 years in Congress. On the Democratic side, Eric Hurt is the nominee. He beat out 3 other candidates. The winner of that race will replace retiring Republican Congressman Larry Bucshon. In the U.S. Senate race, Valerie McRae is the Democratic nominee. She beat former state representative Mark Carmichael. McRae is the first black woman ever to be a majority party Indiana nominee for U.S. Senate. She will take on Jim Banks, who ran unopposed for the Republican nomination to replace Mike Braun. Banks says he's already looking forward to November.
We have a heart for serving people. We put the people of Northeast Indiana first in everything that we do, the veterans, our senior citizens, the hardworking men and women of this region. And when we get to the United States Senate, we're going to work twice as hard for everyone in this great state. And I couldn't be prouder to work and serve with each of you.
4 school districts in Indiana also asked voters to raise taxes on Tuesday. The numbers are not all in. News 8's Brittany Noble is watching them.
Well, here is the breakdown that we have so far in Marion County. With all of the votes counted, Pike Township voters approved a referendum to raise property taxes for the next 8 years. 59% of voters supported the tax increase, with 41% opposing it. Pike Township school officials say the tax increase will allow the district to keep teacher pay competitive. The money will also be used to sustain some school programs made possible by federal pandemic money that's about to expire. Under a new state law, Pike Township will also have to share this new revenue with charter schools in the district in Henry County. Voters overwhelmingly rejected a property tax increase for the Blue River Valley School Corporation. More than 83% of voters opposed raising taxes to help pay teachers and staff there. Now, we are still waiting on the tally from the Braun County schools. They held a referendum to fund higher teacher salaries and to add a career resource center. Results for a referendum for Fremont Community Schools in Steuben County are also not yet available. Once we get those results, we will let you know, both on air and online at wishtv.com. I'm Brittany Noble for Wish TV, wishtv.com. Follow us on Facebook for updates.
In Pacers Watch, sounds like the coach wants a little more hustle as Indiana tries tonight to beat the Knicks and even out their second-round playoff series. Our Angela Morian is in New York and explains how the Pacers are looking forward.
The Indiana Pacers are moving on from the controversial ending in the Game 1 loss to the New York Knicks here in New York City. The national conversation has been dominated by those final 2 foul calls that went against the Pacers. However, head coach Rick Carlisle says he's not using officiating as any kind of excuse for the 4-point loss. The Pacers have a lot of things they need to fix, and there will be major adjustments made before Game 2.
Our pursuit of the ball has to be better. Loose balls in the second half, and their offensive rebounds, our defensive rebounds. You know, we've got to secure those. We did a pretty good job in the first half of the game, but New York is a team that, if you look at their history this year, as the game goes on, they get more tenacious pursuing the ball. So we've got to understand that, and we've got to match it. The adjustments from Game 1 to Game 2, often seem daunting. But we prove we can do it in Milwaukee, and we're going to have to do it again tomorrow.
It's first of 4 wins. Obviously, we in the Garden. They win Game 1. We come back and we adjust, and hopefully we can get Game 2.
Be more aggressive, be myself. I just felt like even in Game 1 of the last series, I wasn't myself. Just lack of aggression, my energy everything was off yesterday. So I'll be better in Game 2.
I asked Halliburton how much those back spasms he's been dealing with are inhibiting his performance on the court. He told me, it is what it is. At this point of the year, everyone's banged up somehow. He assured me he will be ready to go for today's Game 2. Tip-off is scheduled for 8 o'clock Eastern in Madison Square Garden. We are your only local Indianapolis TV station covering your blue and gold for you. So stick right here with Wish as the Pacers look to even the series against the Knicks. For now in Times Square, I'm Angela Morian for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
The Indianapolis Star columnist, who was criticized for his questions to Caitlin Clark, will not cover the Indiana Fever this season. Greg Doyle publicly apologized for his interaction with Clark at the news conference introducing her to the city last month. Yesterday, Gannett confirmed its decision to News 8, but declined to comment on Doyle's employment status. The last column he wrote was on April 29th about the Colts and the NFL draft. The Fever played the Atlanta Dream in a preseason game at home tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Wish TV is your education station. We're now in the middle of Teacher Appreciation Week. The largest teachers union is using the occasion to call for better pay. News 8's Hernan Gutierrez talked to the president of the National Education Association. He starts with paychecks and how Indiana stacks up.
The NEA says that Indiana ranks 36th in the nation for teachers' wages. They make about $57,000 a year. Nationwide, that number is $69,500. The NEA itself reports that last year teachers got about a 4% pay raise nationwide. The union's president, Becky Pringle, says while wages have seen increases in some states, teachers still have a long way to go. She says teachers make 26% less than other professionals with the same amount of experience in their own fields. For Pringle, this week is a time to shine a light on these disparities.
They are entrusted with the important role of making sure that we have the innovators. All of the other professions depend on the profession of teaching. We know we must and we can do better.
Pringle says other challenges facing education include school choice legislation and a continuing teacher shortage. According to the Indiana Department of Education's job board, there are currently more than 2,000 open teaching jobs across the state. About 680 of those are for next year. Reporting in the newsroom, I'm Hernan Gutierrez for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
The Indy 500 is just 18 days away, and a couple of IndyCar drivers are getting race ready at the Children's Museum. Former Indy 500 winner Scott Dixon and our Wish TV driver analyst Graham Rahal tested out their pedaling speeds in the miniature track yesterday. Both drivers say they had a ton of fun racing on tracks with the kids, even if they lost a few times.
I have, this interaction with kids kind of after school. It's pretty sweet, It's the first time I've actually been on track here. Been getting beaten a little bit, so it's been a lot of fun.
Some of them are a little faster than I expected. I thought it was gonna be like a cruise, and instead it was like a sprint. But it's really cool, and I think for us and for Indianapolis Motor Speedway, IndyCar, of course the Indy 500, to connect to a lot of these kids, particularly in Central Indiana. The racetrack's right down the road. These are the future fans. These are the people that we want to be associated, work in the sport. Maybe the future drivers. We don't know, right?
The drivers will be racing again this weekend at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Grand Prix. This has been your News 8 Daily from Wish TV. I'm Hannah Mordeau. Watch us on wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.